Good morning. It's SharRon, Jamison. I thought I would try it again. I am in my hotel room in Montgomery, Alabama, and something was wrong with the internet. But I wanted to share something that was really profound last night. I had a chance to facilitate a sister circle. And the conversation that occurred was around healthy relationships. And I don't care if it's a relationship, a partnership, mentorship, sponsorship, discipleship, stewardship. It doesn't matter what type of ship it is. I believe that every ship, in order to sail smoothly, really requires three things. Good morning, Sherry. How are you from Seattle, Washington? So good to have you here. So I wanted to share this with you because I think as people, we struggle and we miss out on great opportunities to have friendships and partnerships and mentorships with people. Hey, Valerie and Marie Crane and Rochelle, thanks so much for joining me this morning. And there are three N's that I want us to think about so that we can have healthy relationships of integrity with other people. Hey, Trina, this morning. The first N is that if we're going to be in healthy relationships with people, we have to state our needs. Yesterday, we talked about in the Sister Circle that so many relationships die because nobody really tells the truth. Nothing sinks relationships more than silence. Silence sinks relationships. We have to really tell people what we need from them. We have to tell people what our desires are. We have to tell them what our needs are. We have to address those concerns, because anytime we don't talk about and be honest about our needs, we really don't allow people to win at liking us, loving us, or supporting us. Remember, we are all different, and we can't expect people to read our minds. Just think, we all are busy. We all have our own needs, our own desires, our own struggles, our own stresses, our own ambitions, our own destinies and dreams. A person can't really know their mind and be expected to know your mind either. We got to make sure that we express our needs. Oh, thank you, Sherry, for putting the notes. Share your needs, and we got to share them, and we got to make our needs clear. Tell a person what you need, why you need it, what it needs to look like. People can't read our minds. We are wired differently, and we have different strengths and different goals. And anytime we think that people have these imaginary crystal balls and can know exactly what we need, we set ourselves up for failure and for resentment. Remember, assumptions and expectations kill more relationships than arguments. I'm going to say that again. Assumptions and expectations kill and destroy relationships more than anything else. People cannot read your mind. They don't have the talent, they don't have the time, and sometimes they have their own lives. Again, needs. Express your needs as clearly and as distinctly as possible. Don't be ambiguous. Don't be vague. People can only show up and win at loving you, liking you, and supporting you if they know what you need. So the first thing is need. Sherry, thanks so much for writing the notes. The second thing is to be able to say and accept no. Be able to accept no. Hey, Leona. So often we feel when people tell us no that they don't love us. That's not the truth. People can only be in healthy relationships with you if they can tell you no. If people can't tell you no, they're really never telling you yes. I think we can't expect people to betray their own hearts and betray their own minds to make you happy. No, they don't have to give an explanation. They can, but they don't have to. We have to remember that people are not puppets. They're not parrots, and they're not pawns. And if we want a person to do exactly what we want to do, don't go get a person, go get a pet. Because every time we try to deny a person an opportunity to stand in their truth, we don't really love them. Again, hey Fernando, people get to say no. They don't have to give you an explanation. They don't have to say anything. Now they can, but if we can not only say no, which is the truth, but also hear no, I think that we will be healthier. Sometimes when we hear no, we think a person doesn't love us. We fall on the floor. We have tantrums. We cut people off because they're only being honest. I think it's so important to remember we don't know everything that's happening in a person's life. We just don't know. So their no might be their opportunity to provide self-care or to care for their loved ones or to deal with their own stresses and their own struggles. No, be able to say it, be able to hear it. Our relationships can never develop without integrity and without boundaries, and no is a boundary. I always tell people, I say no first, and then I try to justify a yes. Because if you are a busy person, not busy, but productive, if you have a divine calling on your life, you are really having a full life, and we have to be able to say no. So I say no. I tell people, say no because your soul says so. No. So I think that we need to be in healthy relationships. We have to express our needs, and we have to say no. Hey, Show, thanks so much for joining me. The third thing we have to do is to be able to negotiate. Every relationship is negotiable. I don't care if it's your partner, your spouse, your friend, your mom, your business associate. Every relationship is negotiable. And I think we have to understand that our relationships will look different with different people. There's no one universal, ubiquitous template for relationships. Our relationships are different with different people because we are different with different people, and we need different things from different people, right? And so we have to be open to negotiate our relationships, because based on the stage and the season of our lives, our relationships are going to be different. Last night it was interesting where what women were talking about, and this is the same for men, even though it was women, talked about how when their relationships changed, they felt lonely, and they felt that the person did not love them. But listen, if your friend has a baby, it's not that they don't love you, they have a baby. Or if they're starting a business, starting a school, people are not rejecting you because they are selecting something. It's not this or that, it's this and that. And so our relationships have to be flexible enough and adaptable enough and agile enough to encompass all of who we are. They have to be adaptive enough and flexible enough for us to totally show up as authentically as we are. Yvette, yes, don't put your hands in another person's hands. Absolutely. I think that when we love ourselves, we give other people the opportunity to love themselves. Our relationships should be liberating, not limiting. And we cannot put people in cages and cripple them and hold them hostage to our needs. Hey, Cheryl, I'm so glad you joined me. People can be not held hostage to our needs. Remember, relationships will look different based on the stage, based on the season, based on the stresses, based on the situations. And we gotta have enough flexibility and maturity, right, to allow the relationships to evolve based on what else is going on in our lives. When I kind of think about my life, some of my friends tell me, well, SharRon, you're not there anymore. Well, they met me before I was a minister, and they met me before I was a mom, and they met me before I was in a corporate America, and they met me before I was an author, and they met me before I started a business. So because of all of that, the relationship is going to change. Not that I don't love them, but if I'm a gallon of milk, everybody can't have a cup. I don't have that much time, and you don't either. Hey, Kevin and Lawrence, thanks so much for joining me. When we realize that we are limited commodities, that we cannot be everything to everybody and love ourselves, we will realize that it's not that we don't love other people, that we love ourselves, and as a result, we have to negotiate the relationship. And I say, as I have been growing older, since I'm 50 plus plus plus, I don't look for time, I look for traits. And I look for traits because I know that relationships change based on seasons. So I look for traits because the person who might not be there for you now in this season in your life might be the very person that you need for the next season of your life. And if you kick them to the curve because they don't have time now, you're going to miss out on an amazing relationship. Hey, Pastor Wesley for that's Pastor John Pace. Hi, thanks for joining me. So be open to the transitions. Be open for people evolving. People are not static. People are dynamic. And we have to be able to have relationships that'll give people permission and allow them to change and transform and to grow. So 3 things is important so that we can have healthy, fulfilling, productive, fruitful relationships. Remember, our relationships should elevate us, not terminate us. So that means that we have to, and I'm saying have to, I know that's not a word that people want to hear. Hey, Alice, we have to be open to a person's needs. We have to voice our needs. We have to say what we need, and that's need. 2, we have to be able to say no and to hear without retaliating and punishing a person for being authentic and being honest to say no. And 3rd, we have to understand that every relationship has to be negotiated. There's no one template. And if we don't give people the freedom to allow the relationships to change and to transition based on the transitions and situations and circumstances of our lives, we're going to miss out on good people. When I think about the person in my life, my best friend, her name is Jackie Carr. She's in Seattle. Her husband is the executive VP for Starbucks. And our relationships have changed because we met each other. We both didn't have kids. Then I had a baby. She had a baby. She moved. Our parents got sick. We had different jobs. But in the midst of 30 plus years, our relationships have changed. It doesn't mean that we don't love each other. It means that our relationships are big enough to accommodate the complexities and the vicissitudes of our life. Nothing is consistent in life but change. And if we are spiritually minded enough and open enough to allow our relationships breathing room so people can have the freedom to love you and the freedom to show up, we will have great relationships. And again, even though this information was shared yesterday in the sister circle, it's the same for men. It just looks different. Remember, express your needs. Be able to say no and to hear no, and to always understand that relationships have to be negotiated. We have to go negotiate our relationships, and to always know that sometimes people might be available, but everybody's not suitable. And we have to understand that we are the seed, and the soil that we surround ourselves with have to be healthy so we can bloom. You are the seed, your friendships are the soil, and we got to make sure that we plant ourselves in fertile soil. And sometimes that means we have to move. Sometimes, and it does not mean that a person is not, that we don't love them. It means that we love ourselves, and it means that we are fulfilling our divine assignment. So I hope that helps, Rochelle. That's getting to know someone for who they are, and yes, I think we always have to be able to be open to know that the person that they are now might change. We are always under construction. We are always, hopefully, in transformation. And if we are so close-minded that we cannot allow a person to grow and to change, and to allow them to be able to be who they are, we're going to miss out on good people. Remember, look for traits, because the time element will change, but the traits and your values in a person's spirit is what you look for. And if they are good people, the relationships will be able to stand the test of time. So Rochelle, thanks so much for your comments. Lawrence, I'm with you. So true. And Lawrence, good luck on your new movie. So thanks so much for everyone who joined me. Sherry, thanks so much for taking notes. Rochelle, thanks so much for your comments too. And I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Need, say no, negotiate. that will allow our ships to sail smoothly despite the storms, despite the transitions, and despite the vicissitudes of our life. Yes? Blessings to you always. Let's dare to soar higher as we relate to each other in the midst, in a spirit of love and mutuality and reciprocity and respect. Blessings.